subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.
Namaste, konnichiwa. Welcome to the Thenupurtewarishow. And today we have very special guest. I'm sure you have heard his name. He does not need any introduction. He is our pop star, rock star, and Padma Shri, Mr. Remo Fernandez. Remo, welcome to the Thenupurtewarishow.
Hi, Nupur. Thank you so much. It's such a lovely pleasure being here and to be in a program in Japan. On a program in Japan. I love the country. I love the people. It's such a pleasure being here.
It's actually, I just cannot, still I'm like asking myself, am I really taking Remo's interview? Like I'm such a huge fan of yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We all are.
Thank you very much.
So today, actually, we will be talking about your autobiography mostly. So
that's lovely.
Yeah, so the first question would be, have you ever thought that you will, write an autobiography? Have you ever thought at that time before when you were singing or different stage of life?
Well, yeah, for the last few years, I must say that I did toy with the idea, because I'm a great reader of autobiographies. I've always loved autobiographies. So maybe that is what, put the idea into my mind, and but I had decided that if I ever write my autobiography, I would be really honest as I could in my book, in my story, without hurting the feelings of others and imposing upon the privacy of others, because there are other people also have to take into consideration. So yes, I did think about it for a while, and sometimes whenever we used to talk, with friends, we used to talk about any conversation, and whenever some talk used to come about what I had done in North Africa or some people that I had met or whatever. They used to tell me, "Hey, you've led quite an interesting life, and you must write about it one day before you forget it all." And I decided, yes, why not? And I love writing. That was another reason why I got into it.
Wonderful. So you just said that people also, ask you to write about the experiences of your life. So, but still, I would like to ask you, like, what inspired you the most to write this autobiography?
Well, I told you it's my love for writing. The fact that I found that, I read so many books, for example, about the Goa that used to be, the old Goa. But they were usually books written by famous Goans who had not lived in Goa as children. They were not born and brought up in Goa. They were born and brought up elsewhere. And there was a time when nobody was proud to be a Goan, And it's only after Goa became fashionable that everybody wanted to come to Goa and write about Goa, and they decided to write about Goa's past as though they knew it, but they didn't really know it because they had not lived through it. And so I decided to write about the old Goa, which I knew, and which I had lived through my childhood. That was another reason. I felt that I had to put that across because I couldn't see that in any books about Goa. And so many things, and once I started, it became like such a therapeutic experience. It was wonderful going through. It is a wonderful experience going through one's life. It's almost like a psychiatric treatment, for oneself. It puts you in perspective with yourself. I think it's something that everybody should do, whether you're a famous person or not, whether you're a writer or not. Even if it's just for yourself, I think just jotting down points about from where you can remember, go furthest into your memory and jot down points, jot down incidents. It helps you to look at your own life in a nice way, to look at yourself finally in a good way. It was wonderful doing it. I loved I loved writing this book.
So definitely, I'd love to request all the viewers, please do read the autobiography of Remo. Definitely. But though
Thank
you
you.
have already mentioned many things in the book, but still we would love to know about the Goa you loved, the Goa of your childhood. Could you please tell us a little
Yes.
bit about that?
Well, it was, of course, I looked at it from a child's point of view. I was not aware of the politics involved and the fact that we were colonized by a foreign power. All those things, I was too young to know or to understand. All I knew is that there was cleanliness, there was order, there was discipline on the roads, especially. I feel that the way that the traffic moves is very, very significant, is very, very symbolic of that whole country, of the mentality of the country, of the authorities in that country, of everything, of the way of life in that country, and everything. There was respect for nature, there was respect for each other, there was a lot of music, there was a lot of laughter, uh, friendliness, love from everybody, and there were just less people. Any place which has got not too many people is always much more human friendly. When there are too many people cramped in the same place, people need to push each other out of the way because there are too many people, whether it's in the metro, whether it's in the streets, whether it's anywhere, and it can change a lot of mentalities. And but although I must say that in Japan, in Tokyo, although Tokyo is such a busy city and there are so many people, I've never seen another people as polite and as helpful and as respectful as the Japanese. I was amazed when I saw that. Compared to them, all of us must seem like uncouth and uncivilized animals, because they are so wonderfully, uh, refined in everything they do and speak and say, and it's lovely.
Exactly. True, true. I think that thing also Goa had before. And are
Yes,
we
go ahead.
are we losing that or we lost it?
I think we've lost it already. I think people are screaming, save Goa, when there's almost nothing left to be saved anymore. Everything's been destroyed. And who is to blame? Well, let's not even go into the blame game because it has to be shared by everybody, not only by the authorities. Everybody loves to blame the authorities and the politicians and the leaders. But yes, if they wanted to really save that Goa, they would have declared it a protected state, you know, long ago, while Goa was still intact. But nobody did that. Nobody bothered. Everybody promised to do that. Every politician who came to power promised to do that, but nobody did that. Ah, because if they did that, there would be no sale, no free sale of land in Goa. And then how could they make their money from the bribes and from the permissions and from this and that? It's a very sad story.
I can feel
Let's
the
not even go into
pain
it.
through your words, actually. I can feel the pain
Yes.
you're going
It is
through.
painful, but I managed to kind of block it away from me years ago, not just now, years ago. And I decided that I couldn't keep on mourning for Goa all my life. In the same way that you can't go on mourning for a beloved grandmother all your life. At one time you have to accept that, okay, she's no more, and you move on with your life. I've accepted already quite a few years ago that the Goa that I loved is no more. And that's another reason, I guess, why I had to write about it, about the Goa that I loved.
So that is also another reason for us to read your book, to know the real Goa.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, going back to your book, 150,000 words you have already
Yeah.
used. So, how long did it take to complete?
The funny thing is that I had started it 9 years before I took it up again. I wrote 3 chapters. I started on the fourth one, 9 years earlier. That was in 2016, to be precise. And then I stopped because I got so busy with something or the other. And I told myself, oh, I'll write it, I'll take it up after I come back from somewhere or whatever. And before I knew it, 9 whole years went by. And then I came back from, and there was another project which I had also started 27 years before that. Or not before that, I mean 27 years before 2020. And that was some music for Mother Teresa. And again, I had decided, oh, I must complete it one day. But at that time, I was so busy. My profession was just taking me all over the place for recordings, for shows, for advertisements, for everything. That for 27 years went by without me completing it. And then after I shifted to Bangalore, to Portugal, sorry, I said, hey, this is a nice time of life. And it's a nice place, where I don't have the temptation and the occupation of that many concerts and blah, 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 to complete all those songs about Mother Teresa. And before I knew it, those 5 songs turned into a whole opera about her life. I had not planned it that way. Every morning after I finished one song, I used to wake up with the idea for another song. Every day, whenever I finished one song, I would get an idea for another song. And those 5 songs became a story, one following the other, like a linear story about her life and her work. And that took me about 3 years to complete, all in all, including the mixing, the mastering and everything. And so when I came down with the completed project, I said, okay, now I need a holiday, I've completed this opera, and I'm going to Goa and I'm going to take a little holiday. I came down to Goa and the pandemic hit. That's the year when it hit. And suddenly I was locked down in my house here in Goa. And then I remembered the book that I started writing 6 years ago. And I told myself, hey, now that I'm locked down with nothing to do, maybe it's a good time to get back to that book. And now I will, after all this talk, I'm sorry I talked so much. Now I will answer your question of how long it took to finish. I took a year. I took a year to complete it after I restarted work on it, because I decided now I'm not going to stop at all. I'm going to work at it non-stop, whether I'm in Goa or in Portugal. And sure enough, in between the writing, I had to shift to Portugal because COVID became bad here. Then I was there for 6 months and then it became bad there again. So again, back to Goa. So I kept writing in both places until I completed. So it took me 1 year to complete. And then after that, maybe another year for all the editing and the publishing, and it was released now in November 2021.
So the pandemic, definitely it was not desired and it did not do any good to us. But I think we got your book because of the pandemic, I guess.
I think a lot of artists, and not only artists, I think a lot of people got a lot of things done because of the pandemic. Yeah.
True.
Especially people who work on their own and who can manage to do their work at home, locked up in a place.
True.
Without all the temptations and of interference from anybody or anything.
Even today,
how about you? How was the pandemic for you?
Oh, the pandemic was bad, kind of, because I could not visit India. So 2 years. I think 2020 February, it was the last time I went to India. So 2 years kind of in Japan. So Japan also on and off and ups and downs kind of. Now the new variant, it's kind of a lot of cases in Tokyo, and we're having kind of emergency, like the shops, the restaurants are closed after 8 o'clock. So these are the things. Otherwise, everything is normal.
You mean Omicron, right? You mean the Omicron variant?
Yes. Omicron, that is,
yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought that everybody was treating it as quite a weak variant finally.
Yeah, people are treating it weak, but it's affecting us. Like I teach at a school. There are many students, especially the children. They are getting affected, and many classes. They had to close classes like for a week and all those things, because Japanese schools never close. They were not never closed. They never. Like even during that time also we like all the teachers, they had to go to school or online, little bit online, but mostly the teachers, they had to go to school. So
Yeah.
Japanese have very strict rules, when it comes to serving the country. The public
Yeah.
servants are very much, they have to work hard. Yeah.
Mm.
So that is a difference between India and Japan. The public servant here, they think that we are answerable to the public, so we have to work
Yes,
hard.
exactly.
And in
Yeah.
India, I think the moment you become an IS officer or IPS officer, the public thinks they are our boss.
Exactly. And they think they are the boss also. They think they are answerable to no one.
So yeah, so this is actually the big difference between the two countries, I find, after living here 18 years. Yeah. Definitely. I hope that India really,
But at least I think nobody is really dying from Omicron like people were dying from COVID earlier.
Mhm.
Uh,
That is the good
I think it's
news.
much lighter now. It's almost so many people I meet, they just tell me, "Oh, I had a fever for 3 days and that was it." I just treated myself at home on the phone with the doctor. He told me what to take, and in 3 days I was fine.
Yeah. So it is,
And after
as you
14
said, it
days,
is
I
weak.
tested.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Omicron is weak.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think we are going to very soon, we'll be going to the normal, maybe after April or May, the world is going to be
Exactly. I
normal.
hope so. I
Yeah.
hope so. I hope
And
so.
then after that, you
It's
can
like
come
that.
to Japan.
Yes. Yes. I love that.
Yeah. So that is the deal. So yes, so now we are going back to your childhood a little bit, though we know that your song that you started at the age of 4, but who really inspired you to be a singer?
Uh, I would say that the greatest inspiration during my youth years was my father, because, and actually, it's something that I had inside me. Either you have it inside you or you don't. And
True.
I really believe that all of us as children are born with something inside us. And many times, unfortunately, we ignore it or we suppress it because we think, oh, how can my child be a painter? How can my child be a cook? I want him to be an important person, not a cook. And we lose the chance of having a great chef
True.
by making him a lousy doctor, for example. We are obsessed with this idea that my son should be a doctor, should be an engineer, should be a lawyer, but he can't be a cook, he can't be a mechanic. How can my son be a mechanic or my daughter be a mechanic? And we lose the chance of having a fantastic mechanic who could have been an inventor and innovator of machines. And then we become lousy bankers or maybe lousy doctors or lousy engineers, and we come back home in the evening to that passion which is still mechanics,
True.
and we take apart our motorbike and we put it together just out of passion. So I think we all of us are born with that little thing inside us, and it's up to us to discover it and to nurture it, to feed it, and not to suppress it just because it's not a very acceptable profession in the eyes of society. And I think I had that in me about music. But even I was told that music was a great hobby, but that I needed a serious profession to actually practice it. And I chose architecture. I don't know why I was so obsessed with architecture, but I chose architecture. And luckily, at the time when I turned 18, when I was in the middle of architecture, I realized that what am I doing? Why am I studying architecture? My heart, my soul, my everything is in music. And that's what I want to work in as a musician. And so luckily I was able to take a decision like that. And I went for my first and my greatest love, that is music. And instead of a lousy architect, I think I became a pretty good musician.
Great musician, definitely. So,
Thank you.
so you worked in Bollywood also, and
Yes.
Bollywood's music totally. It's different music than the music you used to Great. So, have you ever had any problems? You felt uncomfortable? No, this is not my style, or I have to change my style. Have you thought that?
Not really, because the songs which I composed for Bollywood were very much in my style, whether it was Jalwa, uh, whenever I composed a song like Huya Ho in the
Yes.
film Khamoshi, whenever I composed a song, it was very much my style. But of course, when I sang songs for other composers, for other music directors, they were not always my style. You're right. They were not always my style. But at one time I decided, yeah, why not widen my audience? Instead of just sticking to my music and in English, Hindi is the language of India. So I'll be able to reach out to more people. And sure enough, Bollywood opened the doors to the whole of India. Whereas before, a handful of people knew me, a handful of people in India who listened to English music knew me. Once I did Bollywood songs, even the street urchins in Bombay who come at traffic stops and wipe your windscreen for you, they used to recognize me. Yeah, Jalwa, Jalwa, or something like that. And I realized what the reach of Hindi really is in India. I mean, English music may be very popular in Japan, but I'm sure it can't compete with Japanese music
Yes.
in terms of sales, in terms of popularity. And yeah, but Bollywood was never my main, although Bollywood has got so much power, so much reach, and so much money and fame involved. It was never my main thing in life, my main ambition of what to do in life. I could have easily moved to Bombay. I would have moved to Bombay if that's what I wanted, because Bombay is the capital of showbiz in India, and that's where Bollywood is. I would have moved to Bombay and sung and composed for film after film after film. But I lived in Goa. I continued living in Goa, and if any music director wanted me to sing a song, it turned out to be pretty difficult for him because I charged more than than the most expensive playback singer was charging in Bombay. And besides that, he had to pay for my airfare, for my business class airfare from Goa to Bombay, my 5-star hotel in Bombay. So it became very expensive to the music directors and the film directors who really wanted me. And so I didn't do many songs. I did a few, and luckily for me, a lot of them were pretty big hits. And but that's it. I didn't pursue Bollywood as a career choice. No, it was not.
I think
Making my own music.
all of them are huge hit.
I can't say
Yeah.
all of them. Thank God you don't know some of them. Those that were not so huge hits, you have never heard of them. Thank God.
Okay, I will start today again.
No, please don't.
So yeah, actually, Remo, while taking your interview now, I feel that you really don't know people until unless we talk to them. Like we judge people without knowing them.
Yes,
Right.
sure.
Yeah.
Even in
So
real life, even among our friends, before we meet them, before we speak to them, we have one image of them. Yes.
exactly. So like I feel like while talking to you that you're such an honest person. Like you did not really chase the anything like that is the thing will make me big kind of. Definitely you always felt that from your heart and you followed that. I don't know, I'm getting this idea while talking to you right now, like you always
Well,
followed your heart.
that's the nicest thing you could have said about me, Nupur. Thank you so much. I hope so. I hope that's true.
And I'm sure it is true.
Thank you.
So actually, I'm just like when you I was watching some of your music today, and you're so strong on the stage. Definitely, everyone has to be. And when you're singing, but right now I'm talking to you, you're like a calm. You're just doing your meditation, and such a calm spiritual person. so,
You know,
so which one are
yes,
you?
I know that I almost turn into somebody else on stage. I'm aware of that. And I guess we are both, both those sides of us are what make us up, as a person. The most shy person has a very extrovert side to him. The most extroverted person has a very shy and sensitive and quiet side to him. And I think a lot of us are that way. And I mean, look at some of the greatest comedians on earth who have committed suicide.
Yeah,
It's
true.
amazing because on one side they are so full of laughter and humor and making the whole world laugh, and then they go home and they commit suicide. It's
It's
nice.
really sad.
It's nice when you're able to express and to give vent to both these sides, or more sides if you have more sides. Give vent to them all. And I think I feel very happy about the show off that I found on stage. Because I used to be very quiet on stage as well. I would just go, take my guitar, I would hardly speak to the audience. I would sing my songs and I would walk off. And I used to feel that my music should reach out to the people and not my talk and my showmanship and all that. But then something happened and I changed on stage. I became this go-getter, and the songs I wrote also changed into very peppy songs, and those of course excited me when I was on stage. And I don't know, there was a huge change that took place. I think mainly when I traveled to Europe for the first time, and I came back from there. I came back a different person on stage, totally different person.
And
And
that
I
was
love.
needed.
Sorry.
And that was needed
Yes,
at that time.
I think so. I think so. And I still enjoy that very much. Being on stage is something else.
So,
I'm like Mr. I'm like
yes,
Mr.
please.
Jekyll and Mr. Hyde almost.
So, somewhere you said that the God is beyond religion. So, could you please explain? We'd love to know what you meant by that.
See, religions, I feel, are all created by followers of the creator of that religion, of the beginner of that religion, who was trying to show us God.
True.
And instead of following his direction, he's showing us God. Instead of following that, we said, "You are God," and we made him God. But they were all trying to show us God, and we found it easier to call them God and to fall on our knees or whatever it is and say, "God, you are my God, you are my God." Man, he doesn't want you on your knees. He wants you standing next to him, looking at God, finding God. But that is a difficult thing to do. It is easier to get down on the knees and to say, "You are God." So that is what I meant by God is beyond religion. Religion is so limited in that it's telling us that uh, the creator of the religion is God, and God is something that each one of them tried to show us, and it's up to us to
Exactly.
find it. And finally, God is inside us. It's every
True.
God,
True.
whatever we call God, is everywhere. We don't need to go to one place uh, and pay someone as if he's the broker or representative of God in order to reach God, because God is inside us. God is all around us, and religions just divide us instead of uniting us, especially at the hands of unscrupulous politicians who do it shamelessly. Religions have been the causes of some of the greatest wars on earth, and are still being used for wars and for riots and for everything.
Exactly. So I think the way you said that God is everywhere, and that is, I think we should believe in and find God everywhere and do the good things for ourselves, for
Exactly.
the society, for each other.
Exactly.
If God is
God is
inside
in.
me, God is inside you.
Yeah. So
So
what I
that,
do, so what I do to you or for you should be as if I'm doing it for God. But I will do bad to my neighbor, and I will go on Sunday to pray to God, and it doesn't make sense. It doesn't
Very
make
true.
sense.
I hope that everyone realizes that very limited period of time we have got, and we just should not be confused. We should find
Yeah.
God in each other.
In each other, exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm afraid the day will never come when everybody is going to realize this at the same time. I don't think it will come. You may call me pessimistic, but I think I'm just being realistic.
Yes.
From so many centuries, people have been hoping for the day when the whole world will be one and we'll love one another and there'll be peace. But unfortunately, there are too many natures. And if everybody decides to be peaceful, there will always be somebody who will take advantage of all these peaceful people. And
Very
it's
right.
sadly human nature.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's
let's
sad.
not even.
It's sad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
if we talk about it, it's just like go on and on, and
yes, can go on and on.
never
That's why I believe in that saying that you can't change the world, but you can change yourself. That's it. You can just
Very true.
change
Very
yourself,
true.
and
Yeah.
yeah,
So we have to change ourselves first. Maybe we can
exactly,
inspire many people to change
exactly,
themselves.
exactly.
Yeah.
If you really change for the better, then our very behavior will influence others, and others will influence others, and that's all we can hope for.
True. True. So Remo,
But
I would
but for
like
that,
to.
I have to hope that I change into a good person first.
You are a good person, Remo.
No, it's easy for us to think that we are good, Nupur, but that is the easiest thing to do. Everybody thinks is good. I'm sure that nobody, even people who are doing a lot of bad, I don't think that they believe that they're bad. I'm sure they believe that they're doing what is right. Whether they're exploiting somebody else, whether they're robbing somebody else, I'm sure they think, I'm good. He's allowing me to rob him. He should not allow. He should not leave his house open. He should not allow himself to be cheated. He should be more smart and not allow himself to be cheated. I'm just being normal. I'm a good man. Everybody can reason in so many different
Yeah.
ways.
Everybody can give explanation from
Oh,
their
yes.
point of view.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Our brains are amazing for that.
Exactly. But one thing from my personal experience, I think karma exists, and it does. It does. It might take little time. Maybe,
I wish it was quicker. On the
yes,
spot. On the spot. I wish it
exactly. Exactly. I wish the same. So I'd
was.
love to take the liberty to, say that, Remo, you're in your 40s. So what is the
Oh
secret
my
of
goodness.
what is the secret of
Uh,
your fitness and looking so young?
well, I'm 68 years old, and the secret is booze, sex, and rock and roll. No, sorry. There was,
It's fine.
there was a printing. There was a printing mistake, not the booze. Uh, yeah, you can cut the booze out. Yeah,
Okay.
the other two remain. I think. I think there's many things. I think it's loving what you do. Number one, I think it's a great blessing because see the amount of time of our lives that we spend is finally mostly spent on two things: on your work and in your home. So the important thing is, if you're lucky enough to find and to do the work that you love to do, half your life is already blessed. And if you find the partner to come home to that you love, the other half is blessed. And that's it, then your life can be a really fulfilling and happy life. I don't mean that everything is going to be milk and roses or honey or whatever the expression is. Of course, there will be ups and downs in your professional life. And of course, there will be ups and downs in your, with your partner. But at least it'll be with the right profession and it'll be with the right person. That is very important, I think. And secondly is not believing that 40 is old or 50 is old. When I'm 50, I'm going to be old. or when I'm 60, I'm going to be old. I've had, my own personal friends. As soon as they turned 30 or even 25, and they got jobs, they started to dress. As soon as they got married, they started to dress differently, to behave differently, because they wanted to behave like married men now. They started, instead of jeans and t-shirts and stuff, they started wearing safari suits. You will remember the safari suit. It was
Yeah,
almost like the corporate uniform
exactly.
of India. Everybody wanted to wear a safari suit, have a gold pen in the breast pocket and stuff like that. So these guys started wearing safari suits, man. Started speaking differently and all that. My wife and my job and those kind of things make you old immediately. And because you want to be old, you want to be older, and you believe that you're older, so you become older. As
True.
simple as that.
You start thinking that you're getting old.
Exactly. Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. So that is, I think, another secret, that don't think about your age, just live your life.
Yes. Yes.
That is the most
You know,
important. And
of
definitely,
course, your body will remind you of your age. Don't worry. So you don't have to remember yourself all the time. Your body will remind you when you
true,
can't bend,
true.
when you can't bend that much anymore, when you can't run that much anymore, when you can't see that well anymore. Your body will be there to remind you. You
This
don't
is
need to remind
very
yourself.
true. Very true. Exactly. So you'd love to know Remo's future plan, when we can
Ah,
get something new from you.
Besides my live concerts, which I hope I'll do, even from a wheelchair one day, if I have to. Uh, there are no future plans as such, because these are the two things, like I told you, which I've always wanted to, not always, but for the last maybe 20 or 30 years, these are the two things which I wanted to do in my lifetime. One was that music for Mother Teresa, and one was to write my story, my autobiography. And now finally I've completed both. So the rest of my life, I would love it to be one big holiday and just spend doing the things that I love doing for meaning without deadlines, record, of course, compose and record songs as and when I feel like, do live shows as many as I can, but spend a lot of time traveling, watching movies, reading books, you know, discovering different peoples and cuisines. And yeah, these are the things that I did in my youth. And then I stopped because my profession made me so busy for the next so many years, so many decades. And now I would like to get back to that person who was footloose and fancy free, and travel when he feels like traveling, do nothing when he feels like doing nothing. Uh, and like I told you, read a book, laze on a hammock the whole day long for one whole week and do nothing but read. Stuff like that, just relax.
Such a happy and fulfilling life. You're such an
Yeah,
inspiration,
isn't it?
Remo.
It sounds so beautiful, doesn't it?
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, you
Yeah.
were such an inspiration. When you did in your youth, you traveled the world and did all these things, and then you had your career, music career, you became busy, you earned money. Now you are kind of okay. Now again, I'm back to my life, the thing I want to do.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
blessed, Remo. You're blessed.
I know that I'm blessed, and I count my blessings every day, and I thank whoever, whatever, for my blessings every day. Or I try to. I hope I do. I hope I'm grateful enough. Yes, I know that I'm blessed, really.
And we really want to, would love to see more and more your concert and you, and would love to, and definitely for the viewers, I'd love to request everyone to read your book, to know about you, not only you, the Goa also, because we all love Goa without knowing Goa, real Goa.
I know Goa
So
has had that kind of image, that kind of effect on people. It's almost like a magical place. And the word itself, the name itself is so beautiful, Goa. Very few
exactly.
places have only three letters in their name.
True.
Very few places.
True. Even people around the world, they don't know any other place in India. They know Goa.
Yeah.
Right?
Before
So
before they knew the Taj Mahal, now they know Goa.
they know Goa. Exactly. So Remo, thank you so much. It was such a blessing to talk to you, and I felt like just we both are doing meditation. You're so calm, so beautiful, so beautifully you talk.
Wow. Thank you so much, Nupur. Thank you very much. It was a great pleasure speaking to you as well. You know, the other day you sent me a recorded message. I must tell you this. You sent me a recorded message, and when my wife and I listened to it, you know, Xenia said, "Wow, she has such a beautiful voice. She's just meant to be someone on radio or on television." And I just wanted to tell you that. It's out of the blue. It's not connected. But I just wanted to
No,
tell you that.
can you imagine? The India's rock star pop star is telling me this. I have got a good voice. It's
Of
such
course,
a
you have a lovely
great.
voice, a lovely spoken voice, speaking voice. Yes,
So
you do.
since you mentioned it, I'm going to tell you, like many people from few years, they have been telling me, why don't you go for, voice over artist, or, why don't you use your voice for, so I never thought, I thought it's fine, never took it seriously. Now I think after, since you said it, now I'm going to take it seriously. Maybe I should
Great.
start contacting some agency.
Yes, yes, you should. I really think you should.
Thank you so much,
And
Remo.
I wish you all the very best if you do that.
Thank you. And since you said definitely, I'm going to be very successful since it came
Great.
from you.
Yes.
Thank
Say
you.
hi to your husband, okay?
I will do that. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.